Ed, starting with you, did Biden get it right with Kamala Harris?
Yeah, I think he did. I think that if I were advising the Biden campaign, that it would be hard to pick a candidate that is better suited than Kamala Harris. She really has all of the qualities you're looking for. Statewide experience from the most populous state in the union, somebody who has not only been statewide as a senator, but as attorney general and as a district attorney, but then being from the Senate is also a really important element here, because Biden himself spent essentially a lifetime in the Senate. So, they have shared qualities there. And that's very important in a place like Washington, where you're coming from something similar place. The last thing I'll say is that she's also a very skilled debater. And I think that that's going to be something that's very helpful down the stretch. And she connects well with people. She's been vetted by the American public. I think this is a great ticket. I don't think he could have made a stronger choice.
Okay. Matt Makoviak, what is your take on this Biden-Harris ticket?
Yeah, Kamala Harris has been the front runner from the beginning. And it's because, she's an African-American female from a big state, as Ed pointed out. There are some problems here. I think they're unavoidable. The first is that she went after Biden when they ran against each other. And these were not soft shots. She was effectively calling him a racist for opposing busing decades ago, and that policy affected her personally. If you add to that the fact that her presidential campaign was really a disaster. She was a leading African-American candidate, well-funded from a huge state, didn't even make it to South Carolina to give African-American voters there a chance to choose her. She has moved left. There's no question about that, as many Democrats have over the last couple of years. I think her views are going to be a bad fit for the country and for Texas. She wants to shut down oil and gas, wants to raise taxes. She wants to increase regulation. These things are a non-starter in a place like Texas. So we'll see whether Biden's on defense over the next couple of days. We'll see how her record as a prosecutor, putting a lot of black and brown individuals behind bars when she was attorney general, how she answers those criticisms. These are going to be an interesting couple of days.
Ed Espinoza, what does Kamala Harris bring to the table that other potential candidates did not?
Going back to some of the points I made earlier about having statewide experience, I think is really important. And being from the Senate, I think, is also very important. She has those Washington connections. She knows how to navigate the Washington infrastructure, but hasn't been there so long that she's institutionalized like some of these other senators who have been. The other thing that I think is very important is that Kamala Harris looks like the people that we're fighting for in this country. And, at this stage of the game in the year 2020, politics is still dominated by people who look a certain way, mainly people who are Anglo, people who are male. And I think the fact that the historic nature of her being a woman, only the third woman to be vice presidential nominee on a major party ticket in the history of our country speaks volumes. Add to the point that she is black and she is Indian, I think adds some experiences that are very important for understanding where people are coming from in this country. So in addition to that, her career as a prosecutor gives her some bona fides as well in terms of her abilities. Look, I think that this is a great ticket. I think that it's going to make a really compelling case down the stretch, and I'm pleased to see how it's playing out.
Okay, Matt Makoviak, was there another VP candidate that you think may have been a better pick for Joe Biden than Kamala Harris?
Candidly, I thought the finalist list was fairly weak. They all had significant problems. I was amazed that a backbench, fairly irrelevant member of Congress like Karen Bass became a finalist. I guess she was seen as too progressive on issues like Castro and some other things in her background. Susan Rice, never been voted, never been elected at any level. She does have national security and foreign policy experience, and she had a relationship with Biden. So I'm surprised she wasn't the choice. I did think she would ultimately edge out Kamala Harris for that reason. Ultimately, Susan Rice can probably be Secretary of State if Biden wins, so that's a pretty good consolation prize. Looks like he considered Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, maybe Elizabeth Warren, the senator from Massachusetts. They all have their own issues, their own problems. Of those choices, Kamala Harris is probably the least risky. And I think right now Biden likes where the campaign is. He thinks he has a lead. He thinks he's going to win.
Okay.
We'll see. It's going to depend how this goes the next few days, few weeks, and then in the debates.